Today in our /malicious compliance. Don't break the rules and then insist your staff enforce them. Whilst I was at university, I worked in our students' hall, basically a 2-story bar that was subsidized by the government. Because of the subsidy, it was the cheapest place in town, so we would get a couple locals come in. To prevent this, we were supposed to check everyone had a student ID, but no one minded, as the locals were usually polite and handled their booze better than most students. My manager, who was a local himself, would encourage locals to come and would either discourage ID checks or simply not inform new staff of the situation. He would often steal from the bar and would give free drinks to his mates. One night, he had a bunch of his buddies in town come in, have a drinking session at the bars. Expense paid for maybe on 5 drinks, till way past closing and beyond our license. This resulted in the police being called for a noise complaint and his boss Hall's head finding out. To cover his ass, he claimed that the group were locals that we, the bar staff, had happily allowed to stay, and then fudged the accounting for the night to make up for the free drinks. Because of this, he himself demanded we check every student ID, and the head took away some of our employee perks. The Sunday after this all went down, the pool tournament guys come in. These guys rotate which bar they go to every week between a list of maybe 6 that have enough pool tables and lounge space. I personally had served them a half-dozen times. They make their way over to the bar, and the first guy is well into his 40s. Me, hey man, before I can serve you, I have to see your student ID. He chuckled and said something along the lines of, "Do I look like a student?" and proceeded to order. Me, look, I'm sorry, but I've been told that if you haven't got a student and I can't serve you. He started to realize I wasn't just messing with him and looked to the other member of staff who reiterated the point. Are you serious? We've been coming here for years. Me, sorry, manager's name, is cracking down on the only students rule. I can grab my supervisor for you if you want. My supervisor was also a student and explained the situation, said he was sorry for the inconvenience and that if they had any complaints, to call the head, my manager's boss, and even gave out a couple of his cards that were in the office. The pool guys left, which meant no one was really in the building, so we ended up closing early. Next morning, I woke to my manager screaming down the phone at me, but it was my day off, so I hung up and didn't go to work as a customer till past noon. When I did, my coworkers couldn't wait to tell me what had happened. My manager had come in and had a shouting match with my supervisor in front of everyone, grabbing a morning coffee. The head had indeed received some complaints and scheduled a meeting with the manager that morning. Not wanting to face it alone, he took my supervisor with him. I imagine intending to throw him under the bus as much as possible. The head was pissed, A, because all these 40-something men had called to complain on his personal number on a Sunday, B, because these 40-something men, by their own admission, had been coming for years at the invite of the manager, whom they knew well. My manager tried to save face and claim they were associated with the university, that they were in fact lectures, that it was the bar staff's failing to check for student at all this time, and then turned on my supervisor, saying he'd given them a bad reputation, cost them money by turning them away and closing early, as well as laying bare every other mistake he had ever made. My supervisor explained that it was never explained to staff that customers had to be students, as the manager actively encouraged locals to come in, that even lectures get a form of student ID, and explained to the head about the manager's drinking with his mates and the dodgy accounting he'd do. This led to the skit being checked. When the head saw that it was in fact the manager and his mates, that the bar staff rarely put anything through the tills at his request, suspended him on the spot. He then said the accounts would need to be audited and that he would likely be terminated and even prosecuted. After a surreal couple of weeks, we got our perks back. They hired a new manager and eventually they installed locks on the doors that could only be opened with a student guide. No idea what happened to the old manager, but by no means a loss. Thanks for listening. Don't forget to like, subscribe, smash the bell, and whatever else our YouTube overlords require nowadays.